Are prospective employers offended when you ask about work-life balance in interviews? Hey guys, my name's Jonathan, and I'm here to communicate with you guys some business advice. So I've been in management for the last 15 to 20 years, and today I'm going to do a little Reddit reading here. We're going to go looking through some our jobs and some career advice. I'm going to answer a few questions, and I hope to make this a part of a small little series. So again, these are just my recommendations and just my opinions. Everybody has their own type of opinion, so I figured I would read out some of these, and if it applies to one person, there's probably a few of you out there that are probably in a similar situation. So here we go. All right, next one. Are prospective employers offended when you ask about work-life balance in interviews? I've had 2 office jobs since I moved to the city. They both had a high turnover and abysmal pay for the most part. My current one has people starting out working really hard, but eventually some quit. Some get fired too after years of grinding with low work-life balance because they stop caring about stressful deadlines. I consider leaving my stressful office job rather than be I'd rather be busy than bored, but it seems like most offices have employees experiencing burnout. Not just my career field, but others as well. Since it's a competitive job market and I'm going to be extra picky this time around, I expect it to take a long time. Is it a turnoff to ask about work-life balance? I'm trying to avoid being in another burnout situation. It seems that companies want employees who are passionate about their office jobs. Some small companies are hard to research. I don't think so. You know, when most people are applying for a job, they forget when you go to a job interview, you should not be desperate for a job. A job interview is almost like when you're going dating. You're trying to figure out if you're going to be a good match for that company, if that company is going to be a good match for you. So I wouldn't worry so much about offending the employer. It's doing your due diligence. You need to find out whether or not that job is going to be a good fit for you, because if it's not a good fit for you, you're not going to stay. So you want to ask questions about work-life balance. You want to ask questions about staffing, anything that pertains to what's going to affect you at work. But I don't think it's a problem asking about work-life balance at all. You can tell them during the interview that you're committed to doing a wonderful and great job and that you put your heart into it. But I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, like, you know, I want to be with my family when I'm in my off hours. So this one doesn't really detail out if you're going to be a salary position or if you're going to be on call, but I'm just going to assume that this might be a salary spot, that you might be asked to take work home with you, or get a large amount of work done within a short amount of time that you're going to be forced to take work home on your off time. So, but that's what I would do. I wouldn't think there's no issue. I don't think there's anything bad that you're going to be able to ask during a job interview, as long as it's professional. So. Is 27 too late to start? So the title says it all. I'm 27 with no idea what I want to do with my life. I've been thinking about learning a trade, but I feel like it's too late. I've been getting bitched at since I was 15 to get my life together by my parents, so I don't know if that's why I might be overthinking or not. It stresses me out 24/7 to the point to where I cannot sleep. Everyone except my parents keeps telling me I'm still young, and it gets me made. Because reality is I'm not. I've tried multiple things, and there's nothing of interest. I wouldn't consider myself closed-minded because I do like trying new things. Any advice? 27 is not too late to start. In fact, people like Gary Vee will tell you, like, 40 is not too late, 50 is not too late, 60 is not too late. The problem that people get wrapped up in is they always think, like, man, I missed the boat. And the truth is that you can go to school when you're 30, when you're 35, when you're 40, when you're 45, until the day you take your last breath is not too late. So I wouldn't worry about that so much. How to avoid burning bridges, resignation. I just resigned from my small company last week. Because it's small, everyone feels the impact of someone leaving or joining pretty immediately. I got promoted earlier this year. My supervisor is disappointed / guilt tripping me because he believes that he has invested in me. The company has, as a whole, not been very supportive, and I think my supervisor overestimates his contribution to my happiness. They, all the senior leaders, have been trying to convince me to stay. I dread going in tomorrow because it will be more of the same. How do I avoid burning bridges? I've received another job offer and want to accept. There's nothing my current company can do to get me to stay. I fear that even though they have raved about my performance, again, so much that I got a promotion and have been excelling in that role, I won't receive a positive reference from my supervisor because he is personally hurt that I am leaving. as an adult, there are certain things that you have to do. There are certain uncomfortable situations. So my recommendation is you're not burning a bridge as long as you put in your 2-week notice. So as long as you put in your 2-week notice, preferably by email or in writing, I don't feel like you're burning any bridges. Now, if you're working as a manager or if you're working in a field that it's explicitly best practice to put in a month, as long as you're putting in the required time frame, you can't burn bridges. And I wouldn't worry about anybody not giving you a good reference. In most states, employers will only give rate of pay, dates of employment, and are you rehirable? So I wouldn't really worry about burning bridges in that case. All right, how to save yourself after you knowingly failed an interview. I had a group interview for a seasonal position at Bath and Body Works, which consisted of about 12 people. I managed to get there 15 minutes before the scheduled time, but some people showed up late. I'm extremely introverted, so speaking in front of a group of people really is not my forte. However, I did add in a few comments and listen to whatever other people had to say. The manager asked about 2 questions. What does good customer service look like to you, and how do you prioritize tasks? I stayed quiet most of the time because even the manager took some time talking about the customer's experiences, and everybody else had something to say. By the time my time would come around, she's already decided to move on to something else. I wanted to punch myself in the face for not saying anything. I managed to ask a few questions. How do you keep up with the new lines that come out every month? And they started using online receipts because other people tend to use their physical copies, but that was about it. I'm sure my chances were kind of blown from not sharing anything, but is there any way to get another shot at selling myself? Yes, there is a way to get another shot at selling yourself, not really with that particular job. If you feel more comfortable, you can follow up after a week or so and talk to the hiring manager, maybe give a phone call and let them know that you're still interested. My best advice to you is to role play and to practice future job interviews. So here's the thing about interviews. Interviews require preparation, okay? If you were getting ready to do a 5-mile run, you would have to prepare weeks in advance, maybe months in advance, to be able to do something. So the problem is that most people show up for job interviews like you just woke up out of bed. It's best to rehearse. So if you know that you're an introvert, it's best to rehearse in front of somebody and have them ask you different questions about the job and get comfortable with being able to answer questions. You should be able to answer any question they throw at you, and it's just really easy, okay? Search online on Google about interview questions, or talk to somebody that's in management, and they will give you a rundown of what things that most employers will ask you, and you should have your answers already prepared. So that's how you can prepare for the next one. I wouldn't worry so much about this one. Just keep your pipeline full there. All right. This one posted in Career Guidance. Tips for working harder. I've had 2 jobs in my relatively short life. I was a part-time clerical intern at a law firm and a full-time garden center employee. I wasn't good at either job. Definitely had an easier time at the office job, but I'm not like hardworking. I know it sucks to admit that, but I really struggle with putting more than the minimum effort into things, and I know it impacted my relationship with my last boss, who definitely did not like me. I understand why. I'm not a 100%, 110% effort person. I hated both of those jobs. Does anyone have any tips on improving that? I understand that getting a job I would help a lot, but I have no idea what that would be. I'm in college right now studying hospitality and events, and I'm terrified I won't thrive in these fields because I won't work hard enough. How do I make myself a better employee? Okay, so this is a good one. So you're young, you're in college. When I was in my 20s, I did not think really heavily about being productive and doing a great job and maximizing my abilities. That's something that will come later on in life. I would not focus so hard on trying to find a job that you're going to love doing, right? So there is a small, minute number of people that really enjoy their job, but most people just find a job that they're good at. For you, you have to think about what is your motivation going to be. Is it going to be to make money? Do you want to have a family? Do you want to provide for your family? Do you want a fancy car? What do you want in life? And you will work hard so that you can get the money or the tools that you need to get there. Even if you want to do traveling throughout your 20s and you need money to go traveling, you're going to work hard in whatever job that you need to get there. So that's what I would focus on. If you are not putting in 100% effort into what you're doing, it just means that you just don't care about your goals or you don't have any goals set up. So That might be the first place to start. Is focus on your goals and figure out what do you want out of life, and start from there, and the rest will follow. How do I learn to micromanage employees? This is the end of month 4 for me being a supervisor in a packaging plant. I've got all the technical stuff down, but I'm running into one issue. How do I tell an adult no texting, or you're moving too slow, I need you to work faster? Or I don't care if you talk just as long as you're working without sounding like I'm talking to a 5-year-old. I can handle a little reminder here and there, but I've got some employees who are habitual offenders, and I'm not sure what to do about it. I got some coworkers that'll handle it quite well, but they often have a level of jerkiness that I just don't have. Do I need to learn how to be a jerk, or is there a way to phrase this so that they can get this hint? This is a good question. I don't know if it's micromanaging so much. So you're not learning to micromanage your employee. You are learning to hold people accountable. And there's a big difference. Micromanaging is focusing on every little task that your employees have, meaning that you have to be involved in every single thing that they're working on. So you must not have your own work to be able to delve into everybody's stuff. I don't think you want to hold everybody's hand. What it sounds like here is that people just aren't following the rules, and you need to hold them accountable. So you can Google the accountability cycle, and it's just really basic steps as to how you can hold people accountable. What I would do personally is if somebody was breaking a rule, if they're texting on their phone or if they're talking on their phone and it's not their scheduled break, I would just say, hey, Steve, hey, listen, it's against the rules to be on your phone. You're not supposed to be on your phone right now. Would you mind doing that on your break? After there, you can consider that that's like a verbal expectation. So you have communicated to them that it's unacceptable in whatever tone you want to. It doesn't have to sound so politically correct. You can just say, hey, Steve, you're not supposed to be on your phone right now. I don't want you to get in trouble. I'm just looking out for you. If they continue to do it again, I would write them up. So you've already explained to them what the expectation is. When you sit down with them, though, I would do it away from everybody else. I would make it into a little private meeting, and we would just call it a coaching. So, all right, great. Guys, thank you so much. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the section below, and I'll try to answer any business, management, leadership, accountability type questions for you guys. If you guys are focusing on going to an interview soon and you guys are a little bit wary about the questions, again, feel free to leave comments or questions in the below, and I'll try to answer them as best as possible. Thank you, guys.